Like,
Hi guys, welcome to the Corner Taken Quickly podcast. With me here is Nikhil and Ronak from FPL Guru. He has a wonderful page I just saw and got to know a lot of insights about FPL and players who are performing, who are not. So do follow him, guys, and definitely would be looking forward to have more meetings and calls with you. So yeah. So coming on to the topic now. We are here to discuss about our future plans and your buy, keep, sells, and avoids, and what all strategy should be made in the ahead game week since the bomb has dropped in the game week 24 and 25 there are going to be double game weeks before the bigger game week 26. With that in consideration, what is your strategy, Ronak, with regards to your game week 24 and 25?
Okay, so now as we are approaching the game week 24 and 25, we have just received news that City is going to have a double game week, Burnley is going to have a double game week. So I fancy City a lot. And the only problem with them is rotation because Pep, the famous and Pep roulette. So we have to be careful about that. So only players that are more reliable right now, I find Diaz is a must have if you are aiming for the double game week because he's the one who's not rotated. Rest everybody is rotated. And apart from that, if you're just looking for a safe option, go for the goalkeeper Edison because you might have clean sheets, get those points. If at all you have players like Gundogan, De Bruyne is out right now, so we don't know. So if you have Gundogan or Sterling, high chances that they might be rotated. Even for the fullbacks like Cancelo, he is amazing, but same problem, rotation. That's the only problem with City. So this was Manchester City, and if we go ahead with Burnley, I think you could go for Nick Pope if at all you're not going for Ederson. Ederson is 6.1 right now, I believe.
yeah,
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 he's
6 1.
6.1 right now. Yeah, so if at all you don't want to go for Ederson, go for Nick Pope. I feel that is also one safe option that you should look for. And another thing that I missed out on during game week 19, I had Rafinha, and 2 weeks he did not perform. So
Yeah,
I transferred him out for another player, I guess Suchek. And then after that, he's constantly giving points. So I feel Rafinha is the one to go for if you're aiming for Leeds as well. They have a double game week in game week 25.
yeah,
So that's another player that I'm looking for again to bring him in. If at all I'm going for the template thing which everybody is going to do, that's wildcarding 25 and bench boosting 20, wildcarding 24, 25 and bench boosting 26. If at all that is the option. So I think you should get in at least two Leeds attackers, no defenders because I don't fancy Leeds defense at all, except for Dallas because he
yeah,
plays way ahead.
yeah,
He is the Lundstrom of this season, I believe.
yeah, true.
So I feel that if at all you're going for a defender, go for Dallas or else just go for Rafinha and Bamford. That's it. Don't overthink about much about Leeds because they are unpredictable as well. If they attack well. There's no defense. I don't find their defense, so I don't fancy their defense. So that's about for 25, 24 and 25. We are waiting after the FA fixtures that what is going to happen, which teams are going to blank in 29. So
Yeah,
we need to see that if you are wildcarding before that, because you don't want your 7 to 8 players not playing in 29. You have to look forward to that as well because I am running out of chips now. I just have wildcard and bench boost left. So what about you guys?
same,
How many chips do you have to save yourselves?
same. One wild card, one
Bench
bench
boost?
boost. Yeah,
Okay.
I have triple captain, so I'll be
You
using
have
it
triple captain. Okay.
in one of the double game weeks, maybe 29 or 26. I'm not sure of the fixtures that we are going to have in game week 26. If if majority of my big hitters are going to play in the game week 26, I might not even wildcard, use my second wildcard then.
Okay.
Perhaps during that time, maybe I can set my team up for game week 29, and then do a wildcard in game week 30. Still not very clear, but at this moment, I'm just planning to bank my transfers a lot. I'll be just removing. I just got in Fabio Silva the double game week for an enabler. So
Good enabler actually.
yeah, but again, Brewster could have been there, but Brewster's points are very like 1 or 2 points maximum he scores.
Yeah.
Fabio Silva that game week was playing West Brom, so I thought
Correct.
that he can be a decent enabler. But apart from that, I'm just planning to bring in Bamford or a Watkins instead of Fabio Silva at this moment, and planning to bank my other transfer.
What other strikers do you have
I
apart
have
from
Dominic
Fabio
Calvert-Lewin
Silva?
and Antonio apart from them.
Antonio. Okay, okay.
Since Kane was injured, I had to take one of them
Transfer
out.
out. Yes.
Yeah.
Good.
But yeah, coming back to the topic then, since we have this thing, we have Luke Shaw, and since we are going to do your bits about player comparisons and all those kind of
Yes.
stuff.
Yes.
So we'll
Let's
start
talk
with
about
Luke Shaw and Aaron Wan-Bissaka.
these two fullbacks and which fullback is more effective, that we need to know, because there is a difference between the price as well. Now,
Yeah.
now that you have no Harry Kane, no Vardy, no Kevin De Bruyne, most of the managers, they have a lot of money in the bank, so they can utilize it elsewhere. Most of our managers, we have got Salah or Fernandes, and some of them have Sterling. So these days you have money in the bank to spend elsewhere. So let's see if Luke Shaw is the better option or Wan-Bissaka is the better option. So Luke Shaw is currently 4.9 and Wan-Bissaka is 5.5. Now, if you see, Luke Shaw has 45 crosses delivered in the last 6 game weeks, and Aaron Wan-Bissaka just 12. So the higher the number of crosses delivered, the more attacking points for that fullback. And if the agenda to get a fullback in your team is that you get attacking points as well, even if you lose the clean sheet points. So that is one thing to note down, that he has much more crosses than Wan-Bissaka. Another thing, attempted assists. We have 15 for Luke Shaw and just 7 for Wan-Bissaka. So another thing to note down, that Luke Shaw is more effective in that area as well. Most touches in the opposition boxes, Luke Shaw has 19 and Wan-Bissaka has 10. So and again, Luke Shaw goes, and just one stat where Wan-Bissaka overtakes Luke Shaw is the successful final third passes, because he tends to get inside and put those passes inside the box. So he has 94 such passes in the last 6 game weeks, and Luke Shaw has 81. So you can see that United have started playing more with the fullbacks. And I don't know how Luke Shaw has got into form since Telles is in the team. He's been performing really well. So that's good for us because the price is also cheap, 4.9. So I feel that either of them is a good option if you want to get them in. And also the fixtures that we see are Everton, West Brom and Newcastle, the next 3 fixtures for Manchester United. Everton, weak defense. West Brom, also weak defense. So at least for the next 2 game weeks, if you have a punt like these, I feel that it's a very, very good decision to go for these guys.
Additionally, considering the fact that against Everton, Rodriguez would be drifting in, so
Yes.
that leaves a lot of room for Shaw to attack
Short to attack,
on
correct?
the left hand side. So again, that's a very good punt. And considering the fact that Luke Shaw has turned the corner around, man, he's almost he's if he plays like this, he'll be the starting left back for England in the Euros.
Definitely,
So,
definitely.
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, considering the stats, I'll be probably looking to get Shaw in. But the only thing is, I'm not trusting upon Everton's attack. Sometimes they're really good, sometimes they're really bad.
Really bad. They're unpredictable. You cannot. I mean,
Yeah,
there's no prediction in that. It's just
exactly.
they're good on their day, and if they don't, if it just doesn't happen, so it doesn't happen. It all depends
Yeah.
on Dine. Just these few players: Dine, Rodriguez, and Richarlison and DCL. These four
Yeah.
Yeah.
players. It depends on how they play. The rest of the team, nobody. FPL wise, I feel nobody's worth a shout.
True.
Yeah, for me as well. I've got Dominic Calvert-Lewin, but apart from that, I don't think I'll be getting a Digne in simply because they lack that defensive solidity.
And he is right now for his caliber is overpriced because I guess 6 million or something. He's I guess I mean you
Yeah.
can get better fullbacks cheaper than them.
Yeah. True.
Yeah. So finally, moving on to our final segment, it's the buy, keep, sell, and hold segment. So for me, at least the buys are maybe a Rudiger, an Antonio if you don't have him, considering you have shortage in your this thing, and eventually I might also look in for Son because simply
Yeah.
because he'll be having a double game week in game week 26 and he's facing West Brom. So West Brom are literally making any team look like your 2017-18's Man City or
Correct.
2010's Barcelona or Bayern Munich of previous season. So yeah,
So I have some stats regarding Son if you would like to just hear it out. Son, if you're looking to buy in last 6 games, he has 12 shots on target. He has created 3 big chances. Okay, and he's the only one who has expected goals and expected assists more than 4. So also he has a double game week coming up, and the news as there's a news around that Kane might be back when these game weeks are being played. So I feel that if at all since this week onwards Son performs, he is the one to get in. I'm not sure about Kane because he'll just return from injury. But if at all, because I have seen the last games, Spurs and Chelsea. Son does make runs. He tries, but he has no such support as such. How Kane was supporting him.
True.
Yeah, so that will be a very effective shout if you want to aim for the game week, double game week, if you want to get him in.
Yeah. Songs.
Another buy you mentioned was Rudiger. I have already made a transfer this week. I brought Rudiger in for Kyle Walker-Peters. So that was I was just noticing that Rudiger, because since last 3 weeks he's starting every week playing for 90 minutes.
Yeah.
Solid defense. He's good
And
defender.
Silva's injured.
Again, yeah. Silva's now injured.
Yeah.
He 36 minute I think he went off last game.
Yeah.
Rudiger also is on in the box when there are corners taken. So
Yeah.
there might be a chance of a goal as well, goal threat. Like how Zuma was very attacking, and he had 4 goals. Just how many goals Werner had? 4. So we might expect Rudiger to do the same thing. Also, he's a differential right now, because moving on to the game weeks, he might not be a differential. Many of them might get him in.
Yeah.
So I feel we should get him early and take the advantage. So Rudiger, and very cheap, 4.5.
Yeah.
Even lesser than Kyle Walker-Peters, who's injured right now.
and considering the fact that Southampton are that defensively bad on some days.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
removing, and especially with the fact that Vestergaard is injured, so Southampton already lack that defensive stability. So
Exactly.
it's at this
Also,
moment.
Rudiger has Sheffield, Newcastle, and Southampton for the next
Yeah.
3 fixtures. So that's like,
Yeah.
All 3 are goal shy. So
yes. So I guess we
And
should expect at
guys,
least clean sheet from him.
Yeah.
Sorry for the this thing interruption, but I just received a news that Jamie Vardy will be available for the weekend against
Oh,
Wolves.
Wow.
nice.
Wow.
So maybe that's an option again. He's
Yeah,
facing
that's
Wolves, so
he's
again,
facing
I'm
Wolves.
not
Yeah,
sure.
I have Madison in my team.
Mhm.
Let's see if I can. I mean, I don't know. Now you have confused me to take. I mean, I might go for a -4 this week to get Jamie Vardy in. Let's see.
But I don't think he'll start because Vardy is 35, 35, I think, right? 35, 33
Yeah,
age.
34, 34,
34.
34.
34. He's
So
34 right now.
I don't think Rogers will start him straight away after coming back.
Yeah. Let's see. Let's see.
But yeah, apart from that, next. But apart from that, next person, next category would be cell category. Maybe that's Chilwell and McCarthy. I'd
Yes.
yeah, and maybe there are other players as well. For you, Nikhil, who are your cells? Chilwell,
I was
Vardy,
thinking
Robertson, maybe for
about
that.
Robertson here. I was thinking about Robertson because Liverpool are again starting to attack from the right hand side more with Trent. I don't know
Correct.
when will they switch back, but they're shifting it out. It's not working either way, so I don't know. But Robertson should be the one because there are many lower price defenders who are performing better than him in the current form. So I think Robertson should be sold. Other than that, yeah, Chilwell and Mecca. Chilwell doesn't. I don't think Tuchel favors Chilwell that much right at the moment.
Yeah, especially considering that they have a back five now.
Yeah,
Alonso is much better attacking wise as compared to Chilwell anyway.
yeah.
So yeah, Ronak, would you like to weigh in about this?
Yes. As far as I know, and I've heard, Tuchel has always fancied a left back who has a good height, and Alonso is one of them, and he has favored Alonso a lot, and we can see that Chilwell is constantly on the bench. He was not even subbed in the middle of the game just to give him few minutes.
Yeah,
So there is no guarantee start for Chilwell right now. And even if he starts, we don't know if we are going to get any returns from him, because even if he comes after half time and there is a possible clean sheet, he won't get that
yeah,
until and unless there's an assist or something. And right now, again, no value for money on Chilwell.
true.
So we are just 2-3 games in when there's a new manager for Chelsea, and we don't know what he's going to do ahead. Maybe he's just trying the squad right now, playing 2 games with a particular squad, and then he might change into a new squad or something, or maybe change 4-5 players in the squad. We don't know that. So if you're going for someone, go for someone cheap, and like someone like Rudiger or even Edward Mendy would be good if you're going for a Chelsea asset, but not nothing more than that. And if you have Chelsea, you can sell him for any other defender right now, or maybe bring in a player who is playing double game week or something like that.
Yeah,
Also, we spoke about McCarthy. Southampton defenses. I mean, it's really sad. Southampton. Southampton is a good team, but it's not the right time for them FPL wise. So we all season we had Martinez and McCarthy keepers. They were favorites.
yeah,
Like the rotation between Martinez and McCarthy were favorites. But now with the poor defense of Southampton and most of the players injured and also red carded, so we cannot risk playing Southampton anymore. So if you can sell McCarthy, if you don't have any other transfers to do in your team, it's a good time to take him out of the team and get another like Pope or Mendy or something. That would be a nice option.
Yeah, for me,
agree with
it's
you.
at the moment I have Martinez, so he's a season keeper for me. I'm not going
Yeah,
to change him, maybe.
same
Uh,
here.
so,
Same.
but apart from that, yeah, maybe a Zaha is a sell too since he's injured for the next 2 game weeks. Since just before the podcast, I got the news. Considering Crystal Palace's fixtures, who do you think is a good replacement? Maybe an Eze or Jordan Ayew, maybe, or your
Townsend.
ex-Liverpool fan. Uh,
I would say if you have Zaha, just hold him because uh, I'm not too sure whether he's definitely not going to play or what. So just hold on to him right now, because out of the blue they bring in players like even Bamford last week was showing he wasn't fit to play. He had some dead leg. I was expecting him not to play, and there was very little news about him until the lineups came up. So for me, if I had Zaha, I would have hold on to him,
Hmm.
and they have a really good run of fixtures. Even if he's not playing the next game, 3 games after the 3 games after Leeds, Burnley, Brighton, and Fulham, they are good games. And even at that value, if I'm getting around 10 to 15 points in total as well, that's it's fine for that position. If you have
Yeah,
other premium
actually,
players, yeah,
sorry, but I'd like to correct you. Like right before this podcast began, there was a press conference where your manager of Crystal Palace, Roy Hudson, just had informed that he's ruled out of at least Saturday's game week against Leeds.
okay, I didn't know about that.
Uh,
Sorry.
yeah, so that's the latest update. But yeah,
Okay.
considering that against the fixtures that they have, maybe he's a note. Like
Yeah.
Crystal Palace are facing a good run of very good fixtures. I'll just let you know about the fixtures that he has. Maybe um,
It's
yeah.
Burn.
So
Burnley, Brighton, and Fulham.
Burnley, Brighton, Fulham, and they have a double game week.
Double
No,
game.
they don't have a
Correct.
double game week. All right. So Burnley, Brighton, Fulham, Tottenham is there again. West Brom is there. Everton is there, who are bound to concede, and Southampton in the next 5 or 6 game weeks.
Yes,
So,
yes.
considering the fact that Zaha is just 1 or 2 game weeks odd injured, maybe it's just better to hold him and bench him, perhaps.
Correct. If
But
you have 3 strikers to play and another 4 midfielders, so might as well just bench him for a while and not to think about much. And because I guess Zaha is the one to look forward in Crystal Palace, and they would try to bring him as early as possible. So yeah.
yeah,
So if I had him, I would have held on to him.
yeah. And yeah, additionally, who else would you consider to hold apart from
I would say
Zaha?
I would say Bamford, because I've seen people transferring him out a lot in the recent game weeks. I don't know why. Even this game week, around 36,000 of them have transferred out Bamford.
Okay,
I don't know for
I was
which
not
player.
aware about the start then,
Yeah,
but yeah.
yeah.
But again, yeah,
So
but
I have,
no, yeah, I was just saying that with Bamford, no, there's always this risk of him missing out on decent chances that Leeds create. But on the other hand, Leeds create so many damn chances that he's bound to put in 1 or 2 of them. So yeah,
yeah, obviously he had
that's
14 shots on target in the last 6 game weeks.
yeah.
So I don't know why. And for his price, I guess, and Leeds is an attacking team. We should keep that in mind. They
Yeah.
only attack. Even if they concede, they don't try to hold on to that just 1 goal or 2 goal. They keep on attacking.
Yeah.
So the chances are high. And with Rafinha being back,
Painful to watch. So I don't
yeah,
want to
his attacking
remove him.
returns are amazing.
Yeah,
I wish
and
I
apart from
had
that,
I
yeah,
had
yeah.
Dallas instead of Eiling. I have Eiling in my team.
Hmm. Not the best of the things, but yeah.
Yes, yes.
Just right before the season, I read somewhere that I'm not a championship supporter. I don't watch championship that much since being a La Liga fan. But since like Dallas can play at number 10 as well as in the left back position, that's what prompted me to bring in Dallas right from the very beginning. So he's been there since, but yeah. considering the fact that they don't have that many clean sheets. It's always that there's
Yeah,
always that.
we if with Leeds defenders, you cannot expect clean sheet. Just expect them to give an assist or something, or
Yeah.
just 2 points that's coming your way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
And finally, the avoids. Who do you think are the
I
avoids?
think if you don't have Salah right now, don't bring him in. So you avoid until and unless Liverpool gets back on their toes and start getting points on the table. So if you don't have him, don't get him in. If 5 game weeks before, if you would have asked me who was a must buy, I would have said Stones. But right now, I would not say Stones. I would say avoid because again, City, Pep Roulette, rotation, the same thing.
Yeah.
They have next 5 fixtures are not so great. So I think the run that they have right now of keeping clean sheets is going to break very soon with Liverpool, Tottenham, Everton, Arsenal. Someone or the other has bound to get score against City. So I wouldn't recommend if you don't have Stones, don't get him in right now. And Salah as well.
Yeah, of course. And those are actually very good picks, actually. Considering the fact that Stones' rotation risk is always there, and since I have Diaz and Cancelo, so I never got in the bandwagon of Stones.
Now that Walker is back, Mendy is going to be back. So you never know in the double game week. One game you have Stones, Cancelo, and Diaz playing. The other
Yeah,
game Mendy, Walker, and Zinchenko playing. So
yeah,
you never
and
know what's
even
going to happen.
the previous game week, we had Laporte playing at left back. So,
Laporte playing
Yeah.
as well. Yes. So they have last season there was no options in the defense. This season they don't have options in the attack, but still they're sustaining somehow.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens. But I would say avoid Stones for now.
Nikhil, who do you consider, man, as an avoid, maybe?
I mean, mostly Salah and Salah Mane. Mane is injured and might play, but still he's a doubt for the game. So many people are saying bring Mane in for Salah. I saw this on Twitter at the moment. So I don't think that's a good shout because Liverpool aren't scoring that many, and even if they're scoring, that Salah and Mane are rarely involved at the moment. Like they're shooting, but they're not scoring that much. Most of the shots are off target. So right now, I don't think Salah or Mane are good options to bring in. If they don't have, if you have, keep them because they're expensive assets. So there's no point in selling them, and no other expensive asset is right now available at the moment, right? Vardy injured, Kane injured, KDB injured. So
Yeah. And apart from that, even a Lingard maybe an avoid. He has
yeah,
just started
Lingard.
one.
He has just started, yes.
Yeah,
So maybe just wait
many
and watch.
United fans have already got on the Lingard bandwagon at the moment. Not West Ham United, Manchester United
Okay.
fans. They're saying Lingardinho is back. Only one game.
Jailings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I had this post on my page where I posted that I would transfer out Salah for Lingard if I have 250 likes on the photo. That photo, I guess that picture is getting around 150 now. So I'm scared because before the deadline, if it reaches 250, I will have to transfer out Salah, which I have since the beginning, and I would lose out on the value as well. Plus, I have to get Lingard and captain. So the sooner the game week turns out for me is better for me.
You're a great friend, man. I'd wish for your popularity. So maybe you will get 250 likes.
Maybe not. Also, what about the captaincy picks this week?
For me, the captaincy picks, I'll do it quickly because we have already run out of time. But yeah, for
Okay.
me, it's Son. Son. Then there's always Salah is there, even though he might not be performing at this moment. But apart from that, there is possibility of Bruno Fernandes. Of course, a lot of people would be captaining him, considering that he had a 17 pointer against in the return fixture, what they had. So.
Yes.
So Fernandes for me would be my captain, but maybe even some of the for that matter, Leeds' attackers, Bamford or Dallas.
Bamford.
Dallas not
Yeah.
that much, but at least a Bamford would be a decent differential pick. What about you, Rana?
I would captain Fernandes again this week. Um, Fernandes. I have Grealish in my team, and Arsenal. He's facing Arsenal this week. So if at all I am comfortable, I would decide if I want to take a risk. I would go for Grealish or else Fernandes. I'm not overthinking much about Salah or any other assets. Also not Antonio. I have never captained Antonio, so I don't want to risk it. Whatever points he's giving, I'll take it just like that because he's not going to be the major captaincy pick which will affect the rank or something. So even if I don't captain him, that's okay. But if I miss out on Fernandez's haul, that would be an effect to the rank. So I would go with Fernandes this week, most probably. Yes.
So yeah, those were good picks. Yeah. So finally, we'll conclude our podcast with that. It was good having you,
Thank
Ron.
you so much for having me here, man. And it was really nice talking to you guys about FPL. And hopefully we'll do it more anytime soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.